Welcome to another episode of the Lightspeed Investing Podcast. I've got Mr. Harry Stardines all the way from Europe today, who's going to share with us his journey from a waiter and bartender all the way now to being the founder of Speakers Are Leaders. So glad to have you here, Harry. How are you doing today?
Pleasure, Philip, and thank you so much for the invitation. I like a lot the work you do, so I'm very happy to be here.
Absolutely, man. And why don't you let the audience know before we get into it? What time is it over there in Madrid right now?
Here in Madrid, it's 1 a.m.
It's 1 a.m., but you're still going, right? You still got the.
Yeah, we never rest.
I love it. I love it. That's why I enjoy speaking with you so much. So for the audience listening, right? For you, you mentioned to me backstage that you started your first business, while you were working, as a waiter and bartender. As a matter of fact, you said you even did some business on the elevator of the Hilton Hotel. Do you mind
Yeah,
kind of sharing those experiences?
yeah, I'll tell you the story. When I used to, I got a degree in chemical engineering, and so when I studied in Cuba, Havana, yeah, but then my mom told me, as you graduated, I'm not gonna give you more money, so you go to Spain. So I worked for 5 years in Spain as software developer. It was no no need, at least in Madrid where I was back then, for a chemical engineer, but they needed the brain of engineers to write software. So that's
Oh.
what I did. That's what I did, and I did a lot of project management also. But then I decided to go to London. Yeah.
Mm.
And but when I arrived London, I forgot that people speak English here. So so with very little English,
Uh,
the only choice that you have is to be bartender. So my first job was in a pub in London. The name was Britannia, and but I learned, I was great at customer service. People didn't even understood that from the very beginning. So we used to have someone that called mystery shop that will go in a secret,
mm.
and they will purchase something in the bar, and after a month or two they will give you your points, right? But I was told how to do the job. They told me, look, this is how you have to do the job. And there was something amazing that I love it, which it was the upselling. Yeah. It
Oh,
was
okay.
very simple, but I fell in love with that concept, especially because my team make a lot of money. I did a lot of tests and it was amazing.
What
Eh,
was like an example of the upsell? Like,
for example,
explain it for me.
if you want a beer,
Uh-huh.
I need to ask you, would you like any crisps? If you want any crisps, do you like any beer? If you ask for crisp and beer, do you want to have a meal? And I noticed that when you ask that question, you have huge response in the conversion. And so my till always have a lot of money and people. And the reason for that is because I was doing that. I was doing what they told me, the company, which is actually very simple, but I enjoyed it a lot. And therefore, when the mystery shop arrived, what happened is that after the report comes after a month, I have 100 points. And
Ah,
then the supervisor, they got 27, 15. And there I was, the guy that speak less English than everybody there in the pub.
I love
and,
this.
and nobody understood how come. Some people were asking me, "Are you a friend of the mystery shop? He should be your friend." Because every time give you 100 points. I said, look, the report every 2 months come from somebody with different name.
Right,
I cannot be a friend of all the mystery. It doesn't.
right, right,
Always
right.
thinking,
Correct.
how can you spot that guy? How can you do it so well? How do you know? I said, look, we received thousands, tens of thousands of clients. It's just that I was doing the job properly. Therefore, because I have these high points
Uh-huh.
in the mystery shop, one day I decided that I have this feeling for the entrepreneur, and I want to do property, and I want to go into the renting room business. So I thought that was a good idea, um, to work in a place that the rooms were rented. Okay. And so I decided, because I have excellent customer service,
Mm.
I took those certificates that Mr. Shop gave me in the pub, and I went to the Hilton and I said, "Look, I'm looking for a job here. My English still is not good,
Mm.
but look, I'm great at customer service. I have this diploma, 100 points, more than one, several." And I remember the guy that's when they saw that in the Hilton that is all about great customer service, they didn't even do the interview. I went there well dressed and everything. They said, "Okay, you have the job straight away."
Great.
And in that moment, yeah, the only position was as a room service,
I see.
and I started to pursue my business, and I did learn a lot in the Hilton about branding, about procedures, about selling, and I could observe all the operation in the hotel, and I did learn a lot. However, because I was doing room services, a room service, I remember the hotel have like 18 floors, and every time that
Mm.
an order come, I'm praying to be to the highest floor. Why? Because when I go into the elevator, if it goes to the high floor, I could send messages. Back then we have BlackBerry, so
Right.
I was building my business in the lift, because every time that I get food up in this time that I'm inside the lift is the place where the boss don't see you, right? Because you're inside the
But how
lift.
many minutes are you getting? Like 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes?
Yeah, but you have to be really, really fast. In these 2 minutes, you can get a lot done. Huge, especially if you have
Wow,
BlackBerry. That black back
that's
then,
true.
it
That's
was
true. How
it
often were
was
you in the
the
lifts
latest.
then? How often were
It
you in
was
there?
around 28 years old, and but we didn't understand technology, so we had those Blackberries that when you post your property in Gumtree, or that was the name of the platform back
Oh,
then,
I see.
and somebody respond, we have the Blackberries that give us the email faster than everybody else. So
Ah,
the time that somebody else find out, we already rent the room. We already have the viewings arranged and everything. And as soon as I leave the Hilton, I will go and show the rooms and rent the rooms.
were
So
you
literally,
wearing your Hilton, or did you change?
no, we get changed.
Oh, you changed first. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
You.
it was hard because I had to be in the Hilton. I had to wake up 4 a.m. to be in the Hilton at 5 to prepare the breakfast,
Mm.
and I was leaving at 4. And after I leave by 4, I was going straight away to show the properties.
Yeah.
But
But you
guess
know what
what?
you know what I love about that too is you knew you wanted to kind of do rent, but you make sure you got a steady income in an environment that where you can learn about you said right
Abs-
branding and additional things, and also to get your English better,
Exactly.
an environment where you can do BlackBerry emails during your elevator trips.
Yeah, that was amazing. That's
Yeah.
actually how I did it. And uh, I remember that I did learn a lot about customer service in the Hilton. I learned about deal with complaints in the Hilton. They train you a lot how to do this time, and they have something very important, which is they call over their brand standards. So we when we were working there, they taught us a lot about those brand standards, how um, we can live by these brand standards of that company.
I see.
All these kind of learning and behaviors that company
Yeah,
give me a lot of foundation
absolutely.
build
Like
and
the culture of Hilton, basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I was very enrolled in the culture of Hilton. I was very inside I mean, I was the room service. So to give you an idea, my key open everything in the hotel. Because when you are a room service, your key open the food, open the drinks, open all the rooms. So and your phone, everybody can call you from your own phone. So you have to know a lot about the food, the whole operation of the hotel, because you are doing the room service. So you go inside rooms, you go in, you have to deal with the food, you have to see the people, and it was great. I think to a point that one day I think that they were paying me like 1,000, around 1,100 pounds. I
Mhm.
remember with tips and so on.
Oh,
and
nice.
it was long time ago. Yeah,
Right.
and then I remember that when I grew to 7 houses, I always have like 2 rooms empty. Yeah,
Mm.
and these 2 rooms empty, if I rented, they were about 1,100 pounds. The rooms was about 550, 600 pounds, and it takes me only one day to rent these 2 rooms, and in one day I could rent these 2 rooms if I were full time that day, only in these 2 rooms,
Uh-huh.
and it was taking me 40 hours per week, and it was taking me the whole month to make that money. So that
Right.
was the day that I decided to quit. I
Mm.
never look back after, I think, 17 years from now. I,
Okay, so you went from basically bartending, right, learning those skills with the mystery shopper, to then being in London at the Hilton, to then getting into like the rental property business, right?
Mhm.
And then what happened
It was my first.
to where that now led you to this business that you're doing? Are you
Well,
still doing the property thing right now?
it have been, yeah, it have been a very a roller coaster, very interesting journey. So I started this property business, and we managed to sell over 5 million. And it was I started like a founder, I built it myself, 100% me wearing all the hats.
Mm.
But after 2 years building that business all by myself from the Hilton, and doing up and down
Mm.
and doing all the hard work and being very exhausted. As soon as I quit, because I have more time, I have a great idea to hire people.
Yeah.
And then I started to hire sales people, and I started to hire people to run my real estate company. And turns out that all of them, they were better than me and everything I do. So I remember I put a sign in the office that it says, okay, don't come to ask me a question, you don't have a solution. And the people were going to ask me questions, and I said, look, you see the sign there? If you don't have solution, bring the solution. And so then the people start to come, my employees start to come with the question and the solution. When they brought the 3 solutions, I said, okay, pick your favorite. And they are asking me why. I telling them, why do you want me to pick the solution? You can pick it yourself. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we try something else. It's not like doesn't make any difference if I choose or you choose. And so I'm trying to do all this honestly to work less, yeah, because there were too many, yeah. And so I'm trying, as I'm thinking, well, if I do all this, I have to work less. And turns out that I built a culture in the company where everybody get proactive, everybody self-sufficient, and everybody had that feeling that the company is like belong to them.
Yes.
To the point that one day
Yeah,
I
you
like
created leaders basically without
exactly.
knowing it.
I did, yeah, by accident.
By accident.
To the point that trying to work less, I was
Yeah,
developing
right.
an amazing culture in the company. And until seriously, one day I arrived to the office and they told me, Harry, we don't need you, go home. I'm like, what? Yes, we don't need you. We can run this without you, go on holiday. And I did went on holiday, and the company was doing better when I was on holiday.
Oh my
And
God.
some of the guests that work for me would tell me, Harry, the only problem in this company is you. Go home. Leave us alone.
Wow.
Like, what?
Okay.
I say,
How many
go
how
home.
many team members would you say you had at that time?
Over there, we didn't have that many. We have between subcontractors, I think like 8 team members.
Yeah.
We have an office, but then I started to open other businesses, because I started to ask the client for the rooms. Okay, they were checking on. So why you want to leave? And they told me, Harry, I want to leave because I came to London and I haven't learned English, and I came here to learn English. And because I haven't learned English, that's why I'm leaving. I'm like, I'm thinking, wow, is this guy new English? They were still longer. They can pay me more for the room. You know what? Let me do an English school. So I opened an English school. So I started to tell all my tenants, listen, now you arrive to London. Yeah, I give you the house and then I give you the school.
Oh, good for you.
And then they, of course, they stayed longer. So then I opened the English school, and which was great because a lot of people from that went to the school to learn English, most of them after end up living in our properties, and obviously everybody in our properties go to the school to learn English. So there was both businesses that were
Yeah,
growing
they kind
fantastic.
of they were connected
Yeah,
businesses.
it was amazing. It was a great lead generation, the best
Oh
ever.
wow.
The rooms where it was where the big money was.
Uh-huh.
So that kind of idea is what I was doing. And then they told me also, uh, they will start to leave the room again and say, why you leave the rooms and now you learn English? No, I'm learning English, but now it's difficult to find a job. So I'm going back to my country. And I
Mm.
said, okay, I open a career advice for you guys so you find the job faster.
Yeah,
So I was doing all this. Well, I find out later that people call these landing services. I was, again, by accident, trying to retain the clients as much as possible and trying to
sure.
offer more service because I already had the relationship with them.
Yeah,
Yeah. Until the point that one that because I was bored and nothing to do at home and the money was coming out of the sky, I'm thinking I need to do something, I need to do something. Then I asked to the clients, most of them were Spanish. And what else do you want? They told me, oh, we miss the food of our country. Wow. So then I said, I'm going to open Spanish restaurant. And this was a big disaster. This
yeah.
was a big
I was gonna say
disaster.
restaurant businesses are tough, man.
This one was a big disaster because I think that I miscalculate the time, energy, and resources that we take to make a restaurant
Well, and
work.
it's hard because brick and
And
mortar
I'm
businesses
not
like
chef.
restaurants, you're like lucky if you get 10% net profit, you know, with everything. So
And
it's
my one was
expensive.
way too early, and then I have this idea, with back then, the business was they were running very well, but everything was kind of by accident. It was I was not an entrepreneur. I was learning by doing. I'm trying to do the things. I didn't know any of it. Yeah, even less how to run a restaurant, or I didn't even know how to cook. Right,
Mm,
and but in that restaurant, I lost 200,000 pounds. I lost my girlfriend that I had at the time, and almost my other business, the property and everything, collapsed because of that. So,
yeah, I
but
can
you know
imagine.
what? It was the biggest MBA of my life. I
Mm,
think that when people are asking me, I want
yeah,
to, I want to go to university and I study an MBA. I always tell them,
yeah,
do you really want to your best MBA? If open a restaurant in London, you will see how quickly you learn about business because the thing is
seriously.
tough, especially if you don't know.
Right.
Uh, so sometimes things happen in life, and I think that failure, that massive failure,
Mhm.
give me a greater understanding of what I want as an entrepreneur and
Yeah.
what I don't want. I knew, same like you were sharing with us about your career as a surgeon. Yeah, I didn't know um, what I didn't want. I learned that I don't want to be working Monday to Sunday, 12 hours a day
Mhm.
for in the type of business where marketing, where you have a lot of overhead, a lot of operation,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and customer acquisition is expensive and margins are really low. I still until today, when I coach and mentor restaurant owners, I always tell them, man, if you're making profit in the restaurant, you should be doing something else, because the skills that you have are amazing.
I know. How long
You
were you in the restaurant
pay
business for? Like three
well,
months?
I was no, 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 2 years, two
Oh
years.
God, you were in there for
Uh,
2 years?
yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah.
that's
No, I'll try to make it work. I don't
yeah.
give
You were
up so
trying to okay,
easy.
God, yeah. You
And
didn't
the
want to give up
people,
on it, huh?
yeah,
You're
yeah, yeah, and that have friends that they were entrepreneur, or
oh,
the mom of my girlfriend back then, she was an entrepreneur.
mm,
She's an entrepreneur, and every time she would go there and told me, Harry, close this restaurant. This thing is not working. And I even get angry at her. I was like upset, like this is my baby. I'm gonna make it work. And sometimes you go
You were married. See, you were married to your business idea.
exactly, and I learned that sometimes you need to let it go.
You do. Yeah,
And,
you gotta.
I get it. It's like your baby, and even if people talk back of your baby, you get angry because you created
I
that.
know.
But if it's all come about the ego, if you surrender, you let go this ego,
Yep.
yeah, maybe I will lose less money
I know, right?
because later after I know now why it didn't work. It didn't work because it happened something that what we call it. I was way too early in the market. I designed the only halal Spanish tapas in Brick Lane, which is a street in London that is full of curry house. And I was the very first one to bring alternative food. Now, if you go from Brick Lane in London, 50% of the restaurants are alternative food. I think as soon as they, as soon as they saw me, and they wait for me to fail, and as soon as I left, everybody went in, and 50% of the restaurants are alternative food. I have a friend that want to do a documentary with me. The name is Once Upon a Time in Brick Lane, because it was my restaurant who changed the tendency of that street that historically there was full of curry houses. And I went there with that trend, with that idea that, hey, why we don't mix it up a little bit and make it more colorful and put a different type of food. Today, if you go to Brick Lane, you will find Chinese halal, Mexican halal, different type of restaurant offering halal
Mm,
food to that community.
I
But my
see.
one was, I was the very first one, and it was Spanish. It was totally new. Only young people used to go to the restaurant because they want to explore more, and the other people that used to go to restaurant, it was the British people from the pub around the corner, because when the pub closed and they're hungry, they have nowhere to go, so they end up in my restaurant. It was the
I see.
only thing open. So, but I handled it for 2 years, and it was a big lesson. So I learned that. I learned what I don't want in life,
Mm,
and that led me to a path about what I was really passionate about. And I think my passion, is I'm a people person, like you were saying before.
right.
I love
Right.
to help people. And then I started this company, Speakers Alliance. I took the decision that, well, I want to be an international speaker. And then I called my mom and said, look, I want to become an international speaker. And my mom, she's a teacher. She told me, look, you don't speak properly even in your own mother tongue. You know, even in Spanish, you make mistakes. So I said, well, I'm gonna become an international speaker, and I'm gonna train people how to speak and
Mm,
how to persuade the audience. And I love that thing since I started to find coaches and mentors, and I went to these big gigs from Tony Robbins and
oh, I see.
Les Brown and all these people that later I actually spoke at the events, in the same event that Tony Robbins spoke. And actually with Les Brown, I had an event, an online event that I'm speaking along him in November, that just before this podcast, they confirmed the day, and we are planning a second Les Brown event in London. And I was the person who did the opening for Les Brown in London the first time that he spoke. So, of this Les Brown event. So, I think that it's all about what are you passionate about, and for me, developing leaders is what I really love. That's why my company, the name is Speakers and Leaders. I
Mm,
believe that if you're able to convey your idea to a large amount of people, you can make a huge difference. It's the most powerful skill that a human being can have, and everybody can learn it because it's a skill. The more you practice, the better you
right.
become.
So for you then, I guess after the restaurant, learning experience, would you say that's when you started doing the speakers or leaders thing, and you didn't do anything else?
Yeah, I wanted a business, number one, that that allow me to do what I love. Yeah. Number one, I like to travel a lot,
Mm,
and I like to spend a lot of time in a lot of countries.
mm,
So by being an international speaker, we even before COVID, this is how our life. I'm speaking in plural because my girlfriend Lily, she's also an international speaker. She's a book publisher, and she travels with me all the time. So every time at the conference, they say, "Okay, we want Harry and Lily." We always come in a pair, and I think that I like to travel, and Lily also like to travel. So sometimes from 2018, just to give you an idea, um, we spent only 4 months in UK. The rest was traveling between Mexico, Singapore, Dubai, um, and every time that we travel to do a gig, to do a conference, it's like you're a rock and roll uh, artist. Is amazing. You arrive there, they pay you for the hotel, they give you a red carpet, you have a driver. It's like you're a rock star, and then you
yeah,
have thousands of people waiting for you, and even in the car is where we find out, okay, where are we going? Oh, when you going to this university? Well, how many people there? Well, 500 people. Okay, fine. Who are they? No, they are a student. Which year?
right.
First year, what they are, engineers, what they want us to talk about. So sometimes we are, and sometimes we have three talks in the same day. In the morning, we can be speaking with the women, in the afternoon with young students, and in the evening we can be in the chamber of commerce. Those tours, especially in the Latin America, they go very intense. It's intense. You're supposed to do 10 or 15 conference. You end up you should always doing 30 because when you arrive, when everybody wants you to speak but nobody wants to pay for the flight, so as soon as you're there and then find out, then you have more gigs
Oh
that
man,
was
that's funny.
planned, and then
That's
the
funny.
promoter is
That's
selling you everywhere.
hilarious.
The promoter is selling you everywhere without a
Right.
story, and it's really really intense. You have to be very um, how very easygoing. You have to be able to adapt yourself, and you have to be able to don't put in the way what you want to say, and put more what the audience want to hear. So
Mm,
that's why we always we start all our conference asking a lot of questions, because we
yeah.
want to know exactly who the audience is and what did they really want to learn. And once we find out that, we deliver the conference and the topic exactly what they wanted to learn. And this is why I think our talks have been so widely successful and popular.
Yeah.
And
I'm with you. I'm with you. So how many years would you say you've been involved in this speaking business now, the
in the
international?
speaking business, I think the first one we opened the company in we started to do the first tours around in 2017. I think that we did the first speakers and leaders workshop, which was um, a massive success. The workshop got famous literally around the world. It came from a local brand from UK to a global brand, and still to today, people are crazy about the workshop. They are. We created a great transformation, because one of the process that we do is we we help the entrepreneurs to become the fear of the public speaking. But what happened is that that fear is not only the fear of public speaking. That fear is showing up everywhere, showing up in the relationship, showing up in the bank account, showing up
Oh, okay.
everywhere. So once we release this big fear, then they are empowered to grow the business. So
Wow.
in the workshop, we all
In a way, in English, right? In like American English, is your limiting beliefs, so to speak.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly,
You converted the limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs, right? So that more
exactly.
things in
So
life,
so
where
one
like public speaking was just one of them.
yeah, so one but the public speaking is not one limiting belief, is the most uh the biggest and the more scale limiting belief that human being.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. I hear that all the time.
I know that is not for you. I think that you might be listening this, and because your personality said, how come people can be scared? But if you check, you will see that it's very unusual to have the skill set that you have, to be so open, so communicative. People actually, the great majority of the entrepreneurs and the people out there struggle big time for that. And the reason for that is like this, because when you're a child, your parents tell you don't talk to strangers, so you don't want to talk to strangers. And when you're in business, when you're out there, this is what you have to do. So it's embedded so deep in your unconscious mind that you don't even know.
I think for me, like my upbringing growing up, like just being very extroverted and then also being an athlete, especially playing a lot of basketball, you
I
have
think
that
that
showing
being an
skill.
athlete, yeah,
Yeah,
have been.
like you're used to people watching you when you perform in front of people in games and you want to perform. So like whenever I grab a stage, I'm excited. I'm not, you see what I'm saying? I'm more so like I'm looking forward to it. And even if there's a lot of people in front of me, what I do is I hone in on the group as one person. So I don't think I'm talking to like thousands of people. I think I'm talking to one person, right? And I just hone in on the room being one person and I just talk to that one person.
And also because you have been there several times, you see, you already developed the skill to deal with that audience, to facilitate that audience, and you see the team like once. But
Now, performing in front of people as an athlete, definitely. I think that,
exactly,
yeah,
you're a performer. You were a
you're a
performer
performer.
somehow. You were playing sports in front of the people. So, but the performers are very tiny percentage of the population. Yeah. So for us that we're performers is easy and we love it and we actually look forward to
Right.
do.
We look forward to it. That's the difference.
But the people that doesn't have that, they don't haven't embraced that. It's a huge, huge challenge. If I tell you a story, people shake. Multi million
Wow. But Harry,
people.
to go from where you started, right, and to build your business to a point where you're able to get people to pay for your flights and
Mhm.
prepare hotel rooms and stay and food for you. Like, what did that journey look like? Because I think at the beginning it was not like that, right? Like something must have happened. Maybe the workshop was the pivotal point. It seems like, but what was like the journey there? You
Oh,
know,
the
like,
truth is that the workshop, I did the workshop honestly. Again, same like I do, like what happened in my previous business. I designed the workshop to work less. It happened to be that Richard Tang, which is the founder of the biggest event company in the world. They represent Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, um, even Donald Trump has spoken in his stages. They got 10 million attendees per year, and he's the founder, the owner of Success Resources, and he's my friend. And Richard told me once, okay, Harry, I'm doing this network marketing company, yeah, and would you like to be part of it? And I'm thinking, I say, okay, Richard, in life, if you help people to get what they want, you can get what you want, yeah.
right,
And I know that Richard can put me like that in a stage with Tony Robbins, in a stage with anybody, because everybody literally works for him. He pays them. So I'm thinking, okay, Richard, if I help you to do that, yeah, probably you can put me in this big station, these big gigs that you organize. I
see,
want to be a
that
speaker.
you were connected with the people business as well, Harry.
And I want to be speaker. So I knew that Richard, it was what is a problem for you is no problem for him. I mean, they do more events in a year that they that the year have. So and they do it all over the world. So Richard invented this network marketing where people, if you pay $1,500, um, people will buy these and they can use this as credit to go to courses from Tony Robbins, Roy Kiyosaki, you name it, all the speakers that Success Resources represent.
Right.
So I said, okay, fine, I'm gonna help this network marketing to grow with my partner Lily, and then Richard can put me on the stage, piece of cake. And so I started this network marketing company, but I didn't have any idea about network marketing. I didn't have any clue. I was doing it because, to help my friend Richard to grow that company. So when I asked him, can you put me on the stage? He can say, okay, fine, I'll put you.
There you go. So really,
So
before the speaking business, it was the network marketing business.
exactly, it was a network marketing business. And the network marketing business, what happened is I didn't have any clue how to do it. I was in London. We have a small team. Small team, no, we have no teams, no one. And but then Richard created a retreat in Bali, and they got it together all the leaders worldwide on that network marketing company. And I flew there on my own expense, and then I started to speak with all the leaders from Australia, from Singapore, and it was one guy. His name was Hong Chong. And Ho Chong was a big leader in Singapore, and Singapore team was growing like crazy. So I remember I sat next to Ho Chong in the bus. I was the shade of Ho Chong the whole Bali trip. Ho Chong showed me, man, how are you doing this? And he showed me, Harry, look, this is how you do. This is a presentation. I showed, this is my presentation. And this presentation somewhere. Let me give you my one. So Ho Chong gave me his presentation. He showed me how to present. And he told me, this is what you have to do, Harry. You go there, you go to a stage and you present every day, and you tell everybody in your team to bring people, and you present and you close everybody. That's the only way to do it. You have to present every day. So I said, fine, this is how it works. So I'm coming back to London. So I started to present every day this network marketing company, and the room is getting full. And it's getting full. And it was not even seat for the people in from the team. They had
Oh
to be
wow.
standing, only the
Was it
guests.
was it your own environment, or did you have to reach out to other people too? Like, did you present
I
in?
was presenting, and the people from my team was bringing the people.
I see. There you go.
They were bringing guests, and I was presenting. And the more I present, the people like more the presentation, the people were bringing more guests, and the whole thing was growing like crazy. But the thing, I was tired. I'm presenting every day. I'm like, man, I'm exhausted. Every day, I
Yeah.
remember I had to be in the Lancaster Gate Hotel to present that thing. And it's fine for a while. I know it's a lot of people were coming, and it was amazing, and everybody's, oh, come and see Harry. And then
Yeah.
Harry's amazing, and the room getting full and full and full. But I'm thinking, man, I had to work every day.
Yeah. I know what you're talking
And then I said to my girlfriend Lily, look, why you don't present? And she said, no, I'm scared of speaking in public.
about.
And no, I'm afraid to present. You present. And then I went to my team leaders down underneath me, and I said, guys, do you want to present one day so I can have a day off? And everybody told me the same thing. No, we are scared. We cannot do it. I said, okay, let me do something about it. So I went home and said, okay, let me design this workshop. I'm gonna call it Speakers and Leaders, and I'm gonna get rid of all the fear of all these people to speak. So like this, they can present, and I can, and I can
And
sleep.
so you can be lazy,
I
right?
can sleep.
Oh my God! Again, here's
I'm
your
thinking
stroke of
about
genius
it.
right there, Harry.
So,
Man.
and then this is what happened. I designed the workshop, and I came back to my team. I said, listen, I hired the room, the Lancaster Gate Hotel, for 2 days, and we're gonna do this workshop, Speakers and Leaders, and all of you gonna come, and I'm going to train you how to speak, how to present, and you will see that fear that all of you have. I'll make it disappear like that.
Yeah.
And this is what I did. I designed the workshop again by accident. I used a technology that that I didn't even know that exists. Looking after my cousin, which has a PhD and has read millions of books, told me. I use a technology that I invented with trial and error that is based on something that we call collective euphoria, right? So I think other people like Tony Robbins, they use NLP, neuro language
Right.
program,
Right.
to help people to overcome fear. So the technology that we use is totally different. It's called collective euphoria, and it's really, really effective, and make huge transformation in people. And the success rate is 100%, right? So probably I'm the person in the world that have successfully trained more people to become the fear of public speaking, documented, right? Because we have the videos of the thousands of people that we had to become that using that technology. But anyway, the whole point was that after I did the workshop, everybody loved it. Everybody overcome the fear of public speaking. And most important, everybody decided that they're going to present. And so my girlfriend started to present, my team leaders started to present. And guess what happened? Our team growth
Yeah.
100 times more than the Singapore one.
Right.
Because now everybody's presenting. So
Yeah.
it was not only Harry. It was and when you're presenting, you're bringing your friends more than anybody. So now everybody's presenting every day. So now everybody's bringing their own friends, a lot of friends to see them present.
Yeah.
and and then I'm more happy than anybody because I don't have to do anything. I don't even need to go there. There were I was remember it was going time to time to see them to present, and sometimes I go there 15 minutes, I see a little bit, and I leave. And sometimes they didn't even need feedback. Some of them they were doing even better. I mean, we showed them the principles, yeah, and they designed their own style of presenter, which is something that I encourage them to do. So the whole point is that for me trying to do less, again, I develop leaders, and those leaders grow the organization. So later on, what happened is that this network company closed, Richard closed it, but the workshop was there. And the workshop already, the principles could be applied not
I
only
see.
to network marketing, it could be applied to CEOs of the company, it could be applied to a lot of lawyers, a lot of religious leaders. When you see to my workshop and you see the crowd, it's a little bit strange because you find religious leaders, you find lawyers, you find CEOs and entrepreneurs, you find a lot of weird people, but they all have something in common. They are addressing large audiences, and they have the need to influence those audiences, and they need
Right.
the latest
Yes.
technique to influence that. And this is what I teach. That's the story.
I love it, man. I love it. It's very, very insightful and entertaining at the same time. So, Harry, we are coming up, to a close here on this first episode. For the audience listening, if they're interested in getting to know you more, interested in learning more, maybe about your speakers or leaders workshop and university, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, we had our workshop. We run it once a year so far in London, and usually we do it once a year in the countries that we mentioned before: Singapore, Dubai, and Mexico and Peru. The To know more about that, you can visit www.speakersandleaders.co.uk, and
Mm,
this is where all the dates are for the workshop Speakers and Leaders. And I'm looking forward to you guys to attend to the workshop and to experience something amazing that will take your life to the next level.
absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and the resources that you are creating, for fellow entrepreneurs who may have a fear of speaking. And it was a pleasure having you on, Harry. I look forward to bringing you back some more
You
of
too.
our
Looking
continued
forward.
conversations. And I
Thanks
wish
for the
you
invitation.
a blessed evening over there in Europe. Okay.
Thank you so much. Bye for
Thank
now.
you. Yep. You take care.